Robert and John were arrested and questioned. Their confessions were chilling. The two boys admitted to abducting James, but their reasons for doing so were disturbingly vague. They did not explain why they chose James or what exactly drove them to kill him. Their confessions revealed a mix of defiance, guilt, and confusion, but it was clear that they had acted in cold blood. The legal system was now forced to reckon with the difficult question: what should happen to 10-year-olds who had committed such a heinous crime? The trial, a nation-in-shock trial of Robert Thompson and Jon Venables, began in November 1993, and it was unlike any other in British legal history. The idea of holding children responsible for murder was almost unprecedented, and the case raised deep moral, legal, and psychological questions. The public was divided. Some believed that the boys were too young to fully understand the consequences of their actions and that they should be treated differently from adult criminals. Others argued that no child should be able to commit such an act without facing the full consequences. In the end, the court decided that the boys were guilty of murder, but their sentences were controversial. Robert Thompson and Jon Venables were sentenced to detention until they reached the age of 18. The decision to imprison them for a fixed term instead of life imprisonment was based on their age, but it sparked a national debate on whether juvenile offenders should be tried as adults for such heinous crimes. Conclusion: the aftermath, a case that changed everything. The murder of James Bulger remains one of the most haunting and disturbing cases in criminal history, but it is also a case that forced society to reckon with uncomfortable truths about childhood, morality, and justice. The legacy of James's death raised difficult questions about how we, as a society, deal with young offenders, how we define innocence, and how we can protect vulnerable children from the horrors of violence. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the lasting impact of James Bulger's tragic death and the aftermath that shaped not only the justice system, but the way we think about child killers and rehabilitation. Part 1. The shocking abduction. A day like any other turns into a nightmare. James Bulger was just 2 years old when his life was tragically cut short. He was a vibrant and innocent child with a promising future, but on the day he was abducted, everything changed in an instant. February 12, 1993 was supposed to be an ordinary day. James had spent the morning with his mother, Denise Fergus, at the New Strand Shopping Centre in Bootle, England. The two were simply going about their day when James was stolen from his mother, and his life was forever altered. What followed was a chain of events so horrifying it would send shock waves across the nation and beyond.